26-year-old Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the unaliving of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, was apprehended carrying a ghost gun, which means a homemade device that doesn't have a serial number. This means it's virtually untraceable by law enforcement. These weapons are often assembled from kits purchased online. They can also be created by 3D printers technology. The model Mangione was apparently carrying mimics a Glock. It also had a suppressor or silencer. Luigi is now charged in New York with the unaliving of CEO Brian Thompson. He's also facing 4 other charges in Pennsylvania. They include one count of forging a document. That would be the ID that he's been carrying around, and apparently he had 4 fake IDs, as well as 3 counts of criminally possessing a weapon. He's being held at the State Correctional Institution, Huntington, in Pennsylvania. This is about 32 miles from Altona. The facility can house 1,864 inmates. Luigi's preliminary hearing is scheduled for the day before Christmas Eve. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas to him. I think he's going to get coal in his stocking. Note that it was only after the police took Mangione from the McDonald's that he was caught at that they found the weapon in his backpack. The backpack also contained the fake ID from New Jersey that Mangione used in the hostel in New York City. When the officers asked Luigi as he sat eating in the McDonald's in Altoona if he'd recently been to New York, he became quiet and began shaking. That's interesting because you'd think he would have been shaking when he allegedly unalived Thompson, but he did manage to hit the CEO 2 times. And he got the deed done. I guess being caught was scarier for him. Perhaps he thought he'd get away with the crime. And yet he knew he'd shown his face to the desk clerk at the hostel, and it was picked up by a security camera. Did he really think it was safe to sit in a McDonald's? Yes, he was wearing a mask. He was wearing a jacket apparently similar to the one seen in photos. I suspect the photos from the cab that he took to Union Station. He was also wearing a medical mask. Now, some of the patrons in the McDonald's were joking that he looked like the guy from New York. And in fact, one of the employees at the McDonald's overheard this elderly group of men joking about it. And one of the elderly men who was interviewed said that if the worker could overhear them, then Mangione must have also overheard them. Now, it was raining outside at the time, so it sounds like he went into the McDonald's for shelter, food, and he probably did feel the net tightening around him. The police are saying that Mangione was in Pennsylvania for several days before this. When they first approached him at the restaurant, he was cooperative, but now he's staying completely silent. Defense attorneys are saying, good way to go. Keep your mouth shut. He's also lawyered up, from what I understand. A lot of people were joking that a guy who looks pretty ripped in some of his Facebook photos would go into a McDonald's to eat. He went to a private all-boys high school that was $40,000 a year. And I'm wondering if he has a trust fund. His grandfather was the one who went from rags to riches in real estate. The grandfather, Nick Mangione Sr., and his wife, Mary, bought the Turf Valley Country Club in Elliott City, Maryland in the 1970s and developed a golf community. In the 80s, the family purchased Hayfields Country Club in Hunt Valley, Maryland. It also funded a home nursing company called Lorien Health Services. Interesting that there is an element of healthcare in the family business. And Luigi's father became an owner in that health services business. Family also owned a radio station WCBM, which airs politically conservative programs. And in fact, a cousin of Luigi's, Nino Mangione, is an elected member of the Maryland House of Delegates. Luigi has two sisters along with his mother, Kathleen, and his father, Louis. They have come out to say that they are shocked. They have also expressed condolences, and I'm pretty sure they're devastated. Now, apparently part of Luigi's rage against health insurance companies may be down to his own back pain. He posted an x-ray of a back with screws in it to one of his social media accounts. He's said to have suffered physical and psychological pain in recent months because of this back injury, which was sustained in a surfing accident. His spine is misaligned, and apparently his lower vertebrae are almost a half-inch off, which may have caused a pinched nerve. Luigi, however, did not make a habit of complaining. He also didn't seem to be on any pain meds. According to a friend of his, the pain was no small matter. His friend said that he knew that dating and being physically intimate with this back condition wasn't possible. And now that I've heard this, I can understand maybe his upset. I don't know why he's blaming the health insurance company. I don't know yet if he was denied coverage for some treatment for his back, but the guy apparently was in agony. In fact, he left Hawaii, where he had been living, in the summer of 2023, presumably for an operation on his back. When the friend texted Luigi to see how he was, Luigi sent back pictures of his back surgery, and the images were so jarring. The friend asked him how he was feeling. Luigi replied, "It's a long story. We'll fill you in person. Back in Hawaii as soon as I can. I have to figure out some spine stuff here first." Now, Luigi stopped replying to Martin after April 15th. Luigi also cut himself off from other friends and from his family. And that happened about 6 months ago. He's not been replying to his friends. He's not been reaching out to his family. People are saying, well, I wonder when he became radicalized with his political views. It sounds like he really descended into poor mental and physical health within the past 6 months. In July, a friend tagged a social media account that appears to have belonged to Luigi, and the friend wrote, quote, "You made commitments to me for my wedding, and if you can't honor them, I need to know so I can plan accordingly," end quote. And Luigi had posted about self-improvement, healthy eating, and technology. Know that he has multiple degrees. He has degrees in science engineering from the University of Pennsylvania, received a BS in engineering in May of 2020, and a master's of science engineering at the same university. His core studies centered on computer science and math. He was also the valedictorian of his high school class. And again, that was an all-boys prep school called Gilman. The guy is pretty much brilliant and well-educated, though not brilliant enough not to have made mistakes during the crime. Ironically, Mangione once belonged to a group of Ivy League gamers who played a game called Among Us. Some players are secretly assigned to be unalivers. One guy who was in the group, Alejandro Romero, who attended the University of Pennsylvania with Luigi, said he finds it ironic that they were in this game and that there could actually have been an unaliver among them. Investigators are saying that Luigi was in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh at some point. They say they have an idea how he got from Philly to Pittsburgh, but there are some gaps in the timeline. Now, Luigi was denied bail, and he acknowledged that he understood the charges against him. He has not yet entered a plea. That will take place, I believe, on December 23rd. At a hearing on Monday night, Luigi apparently said he'd worked as an engineer until a year ago, and he initially gave his home address as Towson, Maryland. Later gave an address in Honolulu and said he moved often. And I think he's a trust fund baby. Luigi's family said they are offering prayers to Brian Thompson's family. Through a family spokesperson, they said, quote, "Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. Our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people for all involved. Devastated by this news," end quote. But here's what I want to know. Why did nobody in the family come forward when they saw the photos of the suspect in New York? Somebody must have recognized him. Instead, they decided to remain silent. Loyalty to their son and brother?